Operation Rolling Thunder was a pivotal moment in the Vietnam War. It marked a turning point where the United States dramatically increased its military involvement. This aerial bombardment campaign, lasting from 1965 to 1968, aimed to cripple North Vietnam's war effort and force them to negotiate. The operation's impact resonated far beyond the battlefields, shaping American public opinion and foreign policy for years to come. The conflict in Vietnam was deeply rooted in the Cold War. The Communist North, led by Ho Chi Minh, sought to unify the country under its rule. The United States, fearing the spread of communism, supported the South Vietnamese government. As the conflict escalated, President Lyndon B. Johnson faced mounting pressure to take decisive action. The decision to launch Operation Rolling Thunder was controversial. Supporters argued that it was necessary to halt the spread of communism in Southeast Asia. They believed that a display of American military might would force North Vietnam to back down. Critics, however, condemned the bombing as a brutal act of aggression. They argued that it would only escalate the conflict and lead to further loss of life. The American public was deeply divided on the war. As the bombing campaign intensified, so did the protests at home. College campuses became hotbeds of anti-war sentiment, with students organizing marches, demonstrations, and teach-ins. The growing opposition to the war put immense pressure on the Johnson administration. Operation Rolling Thunder involved a massive aerial bombardment campaign against North Vietnam. American aircraft, including B-52 bombers and fighter jets, targeted military installations, supply lines, and transportation routes. The goal was to disrupt the North Vietnamese war effort and force them to the negotiating table. Despite the massive firepower unleashed, Operation Rolling Thunder failed to achieve its objectives. The North Vietnamese, though outmatched technologically, proved to be resilient and resourceful. They adapted their tactics, dispersing their forces and utilizing an extensive network of tunnels and supply lines. The bombing also took a heavy toll on the civilian population, further fueling anti-war sentiment. Section 4. A Legacy of Fire. Operation Rolling Thunder had far-reaching consequences. It failed to achieve its military objectives, and instead, it only served to prolong and escalate the conflict. The bombing campaign also left an enduring legacy of destruction and suffering in Vietnam. The environmental and human cost of the operation continues to be felt today. The war in Vietnam, and Operation Rolling Thunder in particular, had a profound impact on American society. It eroded public trust in the government, fueled social and political divisions, and left lasting scars on the national psyche. The war also led to a reassessment of American foreign policy, with a greater emphasis on diplomacy and a reluctance to engage in protracted military interventions. Section 5. Echoes of Thunder. Operation Rolling Thunder serves as a stark reminder of the complexities and costs of war. It highlights the dangers of escalation, the limits of military power, and the importance of understanding the political and cultural context of conflict. The lessons learned from Operation Rolling Thunder continue to shape military doctrine and foreign policy debates today. The Vietnam War, and Operation Rolling Thunder within it, remains a deeply divisive and emotional issue. It is a conflict that continues to haunt the American conscience, prompting reflection, debate, and a search for meaning in the ashes of a costly and inconclusive war.